are this afternoon's top stories. Restaurant Week marketing campaign intensifies. Guyana's opposition yet to name members of parliament, and killers still at large in USA despite huge manhunt. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, 2015. I am JD Keynes. In national news, the Ministry of Tourism is pulling out all the stops to make the inaugural St. Kitts and Nevis Restaurant Week memorable. With Restaurant Week just 1 month away, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Daniel Taylor Williams, says the organizers are engaged in an intense marketing campaign.
This launch reception is our marketing kick-off. So in addition to enjoying the delicious special menus that we have, some of which you are sampling today, we will be organizing some special promotions and fun ways of taking advantage of the excellent deals and giveaways during Restaurant Week. So we want you to stay tuned.
The use of social media networking site Facebook is among the marketing strategies being used for St. Kitts and Nevis Restaurant Week 2015.
For those of you who do not know, Restaurant Week is already on Facebook. So we invite you to find us and like our page and follow us daily for updates about the exciting events and promotions associated with Restaurant Week.
Restaurant Week will be observed in 4 weeks from July 16th to the 26th. Monday evening's launch party was held at Nirvana Restaurant and attended by Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, and Tourism Minister, the Honorable Lindsay Grant. Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, says the Citizenship by Investment program is a Caribbean export. Prime Minister Brown is among a delegation of Caribbean leaders attending the Caribbean Region Citizenship by Investment program meeting hosted in St. Kitts by IPSA International. While speaking at a press conference, Brown said the program is a significant contributor to the revenue generated in St. Kitts and Nevis.
The CIP program is a very important program. It is important from the standpoint of the development of our respective countries. We see it as an export, a very important Caribbean export. In fact, it is becoming one of the major contributors of revenues for most of our countries. In the case of St. Kitts Nevis, the CBI program here contributes in the region of about 30% of your total revenues.
Officials at the Department of Social Services are calling for more community residents to cooperate with enumerators who are conducting the National Household Registry. The confidential survey is currently being carried out in parishes across St. Kitts to streamline access to services provided by the government to the more vulnerable in society. The exercise began in the parish of St. Paul in late May. Director of Community Affairs Azilla Clark said it was a rough start. The team has reportedly had more success in the St. Mary's parish. Last week, the St. Peter's parish was covered. This week, enumerators will be in the villages of Sadlers, Harris's, Dieppe Bay, Parsons, and Tabernacle, as well as East and Central Bastia. Over the next 10 days, they should have covered the parishes of St. Thomas, which include Old Road to New Guinea, St. John, which is Dieppe Bay to Tabernacle, and St. George, which is East, Central, and West Bastia. The surveys are expected to conclude in the villages of Christchurch, Molyneux, and Borio on June 25th. Regionally, Guyana's opposition party, the People's Progressive Party, continues to stall in the naming of its members of parliament. The party is also resisting calls for dialogue with the governing coalition at this time. Here's more.
The weekly PPP press conference, General Secretary Clement Rohi said the matter of the party taking up its seats in the National Assembly is an internal prerogative and the party would not be bothered about who says what, even if it comes from within the party itself.
How do you expect the PPP to respond to this invitation for talks on inclusive or shared governance in the Parliament when you are witch hunting our members and supporters? How did the APNU-AFC coalition expect this to happen? our supporters and our members are being treated in a manner that is totally unbecoming of a modern state where good governance is practiced. And then at the same time you're telling us we must sit with you to talk about what? If you want to talk about why these parties are being dismissed and so forth, that's a different matter.
The PPP is currently focused on deciding who it will select to take the top seats in the regions that it won at the May 11 polls, vice chairman and regional chairman. Only after that process is completed will the PPP move to consider who will take up seats in the parliament, Rohi said. Parliamentary matters aside, the PPP is not willing to get down to talks with the governing coalition, which Rohi says has been uprooting its members from their positions in the public sector.
You can't be behaving like this towards the PPP and expecting that we have to go like sheep to talks or into parliament. We're not going to be duped into those situations. Anybody could talk as they want to talk about the PPP going into parliament and why the PPP should go into parliament.
The new government has sent home several senior government functionaries, including permanent secretaries, and more heads of agencies and departments are expected to be reshuffled in the not-too-distant future.
These are our seats to which we were granted as a result of the votes we got in the elections. They will be taken up at the appropriate time when the party considers it necessary to do so.
While he maintains his quarrel, Rohi did acknowledge that it is quite normal for new administrations to replace senior functionaries and appoint those whom they feel are best suited for those jobs.
One St. Lucian family is counting its blessings following a freak accident on Monday. Just after 2 p.m., a minibus apparently lost control and crashed into a house. The minibus driver was reportedly taken to the Victoria Hospital for treatment.
Woodlands residents say their day was proceeding like any other. However, just after 2 p.m. Monday, the unthinkable happened.
Well, I was by my shop, and I have a pipe outside. I was washing my hair, and my husband was helping me. So I'm selling mangoes by the road, and there is that lady that stopped to buy some mangoes. So I left by the pipe. I was washing my hair, and I go by the road and sell the mangoes for the lady. And I go back in the shop and put the money there. And from the time that I open the little door I have there, I just heard the noise.
This minibus apparently lost control, veered off the main road, and took a new course straight into the home of Alexis and Rosalind Chandler. The bus plummeted some feet beneath the high road before crashing into the balcony of the wall structure.
I just heard the noise. When I heard the noise, I see my husband sitting by the door reading his Bible. And I heard the noise. When I heard the noise, I'm saying, what happened? What happened? I don't know nothing again. I just collapsed. And my husband come and hold me. And I asked him, what happened, what happened, what happened? He give me some vinegar, I drink it and pass in my face. And I asked him, what happened, what happened? He said, a van that go home. When I look, I see the van inside of my balcony.
The driver of the minibus reportedly sustained injuries and was taken to the Victoria Hospital. His condition is unknown. Neighbors say despite the driver being in some pain, he first sought to check on the inhabitants who were fortunately not inside at the time.
He just come and asked me if I all right. If I all right, I tell him okay. But I all right, but I don't know for my wife because my wife was shaking, trembling.
Police, who arrived on the scene, then summoned a wrecker crew to remove the vehicle. The couple estimates the cost of damage to their home of over 10 years could run into the thousands of dollars. However, they are counting their blessings. Rihani Isidore, HTS News 4.
Internationally, thousands of people living close to a volcano in Indonesia have been forced to leave their homes. Mount Sinabung, which is located on the island of Sumatra, has been spewing hot ash down its slopes. Here's that story.
Surges of hot ash and gas still spewing more than 2 days after a powerful eruption. These images just a snapshot of the widespread panic of those living near Mount Sinabung's slopes. The danger alert now raised to its highest level.
Our worry is that Sinabung remains very active till now. and the hot ash is still threatening the neighbouring areas. We had to evacuate a new group of residents from their villages.
At least 3,000 people living near its slopes have had to leave, including 1,200 on Monday alone. Mount Sinabung is one of about 130 volcanoes currently active in Indonesia. Before 2010, the volcano had been dormant for more than 400 years. A military commander in Sumatra has said it's likely thousands more will have to evacuate. Scientists worry the volcano could pose more dangers in the coming weeks. Katerina Mo, BBC News.
And finally, on the international scene, 2 convicted murderers are still at large in the U.S. despite 10 days of a huge manhunt. Their escape from a maximum security facility close to the Canadian border was the first in its 150-year history. More in this report.
It is now day 10 in one of the biggest manhunts in U.S. history as law enforcement officers try to track down and recapture 2 convicted murderers. Sewers are being sealed, roadblocks check every car, and over 1,000 officers are combing thick woods and trails to prevent the men's escape. Their escape from a maximum security facility, the Clinton Correctional, close to the Canadian border, was the first in its 150-year history. It's raising anxiety levels among the local population, many of whom live in isolated homes.
And I kept on getting more and more and more nervous until the point that I started carrying a weapon to protect myself if I had to. I'm not going to go out and seek anyone. If they come to me, they're going to have to corner me and threaten me for me to take any action.
A prison employee, Joyce Mitchell, has been charged with helping the men escape by providing them with tools such as chisels and hacksaw blades. She's pleaded not guilty and runs the risk of 8 years imprisonment. She had previously been investigated for having an improper relationship with one of the men, but lack of evidence led to the accusation being dropped. The police believe the men are still in the area and have narrowed their search to a 13-square-kilometre region.
And now the weather. Skies today will be cloudy and slightly hazy. Winds are now northeast at 13 miles per hour with temperatures as high as 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are moderate with waves of 1.5 to 2 meters or 5 to 7 feet. Small craft operators are urged to exercise caution. Sunset for today will be at 6:46 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5:37 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening when we'll have the details to these stories and more in our major news presentation. I have been your presenter, JD Gaines. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful afternoon.